Well, good afternoon, Flyers fans, and welcome back to the Clear the Ice program, a Flyers postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network today with your boy Matty B on the call, and no offense, and Cam York's possibly his worst defensive output of his career result. Oh, yeah, and a Marc-Andre Fleury save of the year candidate, all result in a Flyers 4-1 loss to the hands of the Minnesota Wild today. In a game where you just kind of saw it happening right in front of your eyes. Each passing second, each passing shift, each passing minute, you just saw the game slipping further and further and further away. You got to go out and play a team like the Minnesota Wild like you're a Stanley Cup contender, even when you're the Flyers. And today, the Flyers had too many defensive breakdowns. Cam York specifically had the worst game defensively of his career. And I am a huge Cam York supporter, but not a good day for Cam York and the rest of the defense. And offensively, listen, they didn't have much opportunities. 21 total shots on the day for the Flyers. They had quality opportunities. They just didn't have enough. And when Marc-Andre Fleury is flinging himself across the crease, throwing up his hands, and making these amazing center field catch saves, it's just not going to be a good day for you as the Flyers fell today 4-1. And Kirill Kaprizov, Kirill the Thrill. This is a player that I think a lot of people hope that Matt B. Michkov grows up to be, as Kaprizov was a pain in the ass today to the Flyers as he led the offensive charge for the Minnesota Wild in their 4-1 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers, ending the Flyers' modest 2-game winning streak and their point streak on the road. Flyers now off to Wednesday, as they will face the Detroit Red Wings in their Wednesday, Detroit Red Wings. So a few days off of the Flyers as they end a pretty active week. But let's head into this game. That's what you came here for, right? This game. Before we do that, I got to pay the bills. Listen, make sure that you like and subscribe the It's a Wrap Sports Network and all of our platforms and everything we do, that we can continue to bring you this type of quality entertainment on these types of games and days. So let's head over to the game, shall we? Let's take care of some housekeeping as we typically do. The Flyers on the day. Where is it? I had it. There we go. Erik Johnson, Ivan Fedotov, and Emil Andre were the healthy scratches for the Flyers. For the Wild, Devin Shore, Travis Demon, and Yakov Turin were the healthy scratches for the Wild. In the net for the Flyers, Sam Ersson got the call today, back in the net as he continues to work his way back from that 11-game absence on the IR. Not a bad game for Ersson. 22 shots faced, 19 saves, with a .864 goals against average, or save percentage. I always want to say goals against average, but it's a save percentage. The Flyers defense, as I mentioned, Cam York specifically, and yes, I am going to go to Cam York mainly today, because when you break these goals down, when you break the Wild goals down, it's Cam York holding the smoking gun most of the time, creating some bad defensive breakdowns. Flyers defense did not help Sam Ersson today at all. I thought Ersson played well enough to win, but the Flyers did not provide him enough offense and too many defensive breakdowns for them. Ersson gets the loss for the Minnesota Wild in possibly his final game ever against the Philadelphia Flyers. Marc-Andre Fleury, 22 shots faced, 21 saves, a .955 save percentage. And as I mentioned, save of the year candidate on a play in the first period with Travis Konechny through a screen on a 2-on-1. Marc-Andre Fleury was on the other side of the ice. Everything was working in the Flyers' favor on that play, except for Marc-Andre Fleury's hand, as he made an amazing save. Amazing save. And if the season were to end today, that would be my save of the year. And we'll look at it here in a second, because it's worth that. It is worth a second look here on Clear the Ice. That's how good of a save it was today against the Flyers. Let's get into the game, I should say. In the goal. But before we do that, I do want to bring up the save of the year, because we got to do that. This is just amazing. It's an amazing play that deserves an amazing look at. Let me bring it up for you. I should have it ready, because I've been watching it for about 17 times just before I come on the air, but I don't have it ready because I'm not that good. Told you I need a producer, but let's key this bad boy up, because it is worth a look-see here on the show. Here we go. Let's set this play up for you. Flyers do an amazing job here. It's not a back check. I'm not going to call this a back check, how they get the turnover here. It's like a back pressure. And they were able to kind of continue to, one thing the Flyers did do well today was they created a lot of time and space. They created a lot of pressure. They weren't allowing many uncontested zone entries. Now, what gets them burned later on in this game for a couple of goals is that pressure of trying to kind of pinch and kind of like push up on the offensive zone, kind of putting their defenders at a little bit of a disadvantage. But on this particular play here, the Flyers do an amazing job with back check / back pressure. Let's roll the tape. It's behind Andre Fleury now. The Wild are going to come out of their zone. As I said, the Flyers don't necessarily back check here, but they back pressure. They kind of force plays. They kind of force passes when they probably shouldn't be. And you're going to get a turnover rate coming up here. That's not a turnover. This is a giveaway. And the Flyers are going to turn it into something. Joel Farabee is going to get it. And here you go. You got numbers Farabee and Konechny 2-on-1. Farabee does an amazing job of not overthinking this play. Goes right to Travis Konechny, who uses a screen and still is robbed. I mean, straight robbed by Marc-Andre Fleury. Let's look at that again. There's nothing wrong with this. Is an amazing play by the Flyers. It's an amazing play by Fleury. This was an amazing play altogether. And there's nothing, you can't say nothing here. It's just, it's easy for me to criticize the Flyers for their lack of decision-making abilities with the puck this year. That's low-hanging fruit for me. But this was not one of those plays. Joel Farabee did the right thing at the right time on this 2-on-1. Travis Konechny allowed a screen. He used his defender as a screen. He had the goalie out of position. He had everything working in his favor, and he he put the puck in the right direction. He elevated the puck. You're just robbed. Sometimes you just got to say you're robbed, and let's play it again. I'm going to replay this all night. And here we go. I'm not even going to talk. Not even going to talk. Yeah, not even going to talk. Talking would ruin it. But there you have it. If the Flyers score there, I think this game is a whole different animal. But they didn't. Marc-Andre Fleury with the amazing save to keep the scoring at 0-0. And that would lead to Kirill Kaprizov's 19th goal of the year at the 14-18 mark of the first period. I didn't even go over the other stuff. Let me jump over there real quick. So on the game, I'm so excited by that save that I'm totally off my post-game show game. On the game, the Wild did outshoot the Flyers 23-22. The Flyers were 0-for-3 on the power play, but they did kill the one time they were short, as the Wild were just 0-for-1 on their power play. The Flyers blocked 11 shots in this game, gave the puck away 15 times, and took the puck away 6 times for the game. Let's head back over. Because this kid is an amazing player, and this kid is everything in a bag of chips. Let's bring this bad boy up. This is this is a goal that the Flyers did not have a defensive breakdown. This was just one of them goals, I guess. I'm going to say it's one of them goals. But let's bring this thing up. All right, Minnesota's going to enter the zone here. Sanheim's got this thing played pretty well. He's going to dump the puck in, the old dump and chase in the 21st century. You got to love it. Coming back now, actually, this is a defensive breakdown. I lied. Here's Cam York, one of his multiple issues today. York in the corner. He gives the puck away. This is an unforced error. This is a terrible play by Cam York, as he is unable to get it up the half wall with any kind of oomph. Creates a turnover. It goes from a giveaway to a turnover. Minnesota then keeps control in the zone. They're going to set up their offense now, and then it's just going to be a matter of time, folks, as they're just going to skate in. The puck is going to go behind the net. There's Cam York going behind the net. Listen, as this game kind of went on and Cam York kind of continued to struggle, I might have gravitated to this play and presented more blame to Cam York on this play than maybe he deserves. As I look at it more and more, it wasn't played well defensively. He's out of position here. That's Kirill Kaprizov right here. Now, he's in bad ice. As we've talked about bad ice multiple times on this show, it's that part of the ice on the other side of the dot near the wall. He's not in a great scoring position, but it's Kirill Kaprizov, for God's sakes. It's not like it's Nick DeLorean standing out there. You got to have sort of situational awareness of where all those superstar players are on the ice. Cam York, to me, looks like he doesn't know where Kaprizov is, that he's kind of out here in no man's land with no one to play, and loses complete control of Kaprizov. And it's going to be a problem. I think it's a pass. I think this is a pass to Kaprizov going around the net. He's just going to put a very impossible angled shot on net as he right there, and he scores. Is it a lucky goal? Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but this kid can score anywhere on the ice. You got to be aware of that as a defender. You can't give him any room to operate, and Cam York did. Even though it was in low percentage room, it was in not great scoring opportunity room, you still gave him some room to operate on. And the Flyers and Kaprizov makes them pay 1-0 Wild at the 14-18 mark of the first period. As I said, the more I look at that goal, the more I'm prepared not to go complete. If that was the only thing Cam York did in this game, I'd be okay with it. But there'd be more coming. That's how the scoring would end at the end of the first period, 1-0. On the period, the Flyers and Wild both had 9 shots. So moving into the second period, it was at the 15-21 mark of that period. Matt Boldy, his 13th goal of the year, to give the Wild a 2-0 lead. Let's bring this one up. This is going to be a goal where the Flyers are getting a little bit aggressive, a little bit too aggressive for my taste here, and they get caught on it. One of 2 goals that the Flyers are caught. Being too aggressive with defense, being too aggressively offensively, defensively minded. I said the word defense a lot. So here we go into the Wild zone. You got Konechny. He's going to take a shot on net. The shot's going to get saved and then kind of kicked off into the corner. And then things are going to kind of go kaflooey here. But before it goes kaflooey, I want to point out a couple things. We're a 4-on-4 at this point. These teams are skating 4 aside. So let's do the quick math. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 Minnesota Wild players, by the way, looking stellar in their Minnesota North Star throwback uniforms today. And you got 1, 2, 3 Flyers players. So you got 1 player unaccounted for on the ice, and it's a Flyer defenseman. That's right. It's a Flyers defenseman. So what happens after this is even more that confusing, because all 4 Minnesota Wild players are down around the goal crease. And I just don't understand how this next thing happens, but the puck goes into the corner. Everyone's going to disperse. We still have 4 Minnesota Wild players into the picture. Now it's down to 2. Somehow they found a space in the defense right there as the Flyers are caught, and that's Igor Zamula caught being the only defender. Only job he had was to stay, was not allow anybody to get behind him, and he does. Leads to a breakaway, nifty little move there. Beautiful goal by Boldy, and then it's 2-0 Wild. But again, let's go back here. I just am having a hard time understanding how this happens. You got 4 Minnesota Wild players in the frame. You got 3 Flyers and Zamula over here. There's no reason why somebody should get behind Zamula here. Not what there he is. There's Zamula right there. You see his stick? I know what he's looking for, a pass. The pass ain't coming because the Flyers don't have the puck. He's quick to react. And look at this. How does this happen? You can't commit plays like this against a team like the Minnesota Wild and expect to win hockey games. It's just not going to happen. And now it is 2-0 Wild at this point of the game. So Zamula, you already know my feelings about Igor Zamula. I've been done with him for a while, and he cost the Flyers there. 2-0 Wild. That is all the scoring in the second period as the The Wild would outscore or shoot the Flyers 7-4 in that period. And then move on to the third at 9:34. Marco Rossi, his 11th goal of the year, to kind of give the the stake in the heart type play as the Wild will take 3-0 lead. Let's bring this one up. Again, a similar MO type of goal. Flyers trying to be a little bit more aggressive on defense, and they allow something to get behind them. And this time it's Cam York. Matter of fact, this is Cam York all the way. And this is actually kind of a really, really, really bad play. And it's going to upset me to run this down because Cam York is all over this thing. Let's get it up. So, again, we're in the Wild zone here. And it's going to be a series of bad plays as the Flyers try to keep it in. They're going to give it away here. 15 giveaways, by the way, on the day for the Flyers as that number continues to not get any better. The Wild now are going to start out of their own zone. They got the Flyer. Again, we don't. I mean, there's 3-on-2 maybe. There's a nice little outlet pass here. There's Cam York. So let's stop it because that was Cam York right here. Let's back it up. So let's bring it here. So York is coming out of the zone. He's kind of caught behind. It is what it is, right? But let's just keep running it here. Ristolainen is going to do a good play of trying to get back and cuts this play off. But here's where the play goes haywire. Cam York decides to play on the same side of the ice that Ristolainen is playing on right now, totally neglecting this side of the ice, which is neglecting this player, which is Rossi. And not even looking over here. He's completely facing this direction. Defensively, when you're playing hockey, there's no time that they tell you both defensemen need to be on the same side of the ice. Matter of fact, it's quite to the contrary. If they say if you're playing defense and you look up and your defensive partner is standing anywhere near you, somebody's wrong and somebody needs to go back to the other side of the ice. And right now, Cam York is completely oblivious to the fact that he is on the same side with his defensive partner, Ristolainen, and that the entire other side of the ice might be wide open, and it is. And the Flyers learn a lesson. There's York completely out of it. Oh, look at that, Cam. There's somebody behind you. And there you have 3-0 Wild, as I said. Not a good day for Cam York. And I'm a big Cam York guy. I think Cam York is the future of this team, but he needs to definitely learn some lessons today. We'll bring this back a little bit. Right here. So him being out of position here, I'm okay with because he was part of an aggressive offensive push. They were trying to create offense. They create offense with the defenseman. Sometimes one goes deep, the other one stays back. Cam York was the guy to go up and play offense on this play. So when the play transitions back, he's out of position. But Ristolainen is in position. And he does a pretty good job, Risto does, of cutting off a potential breakaway as he makes up the ground and he angles the player off. But then right here, as I said, is where the fatal flaw is. What Cam York should have never even looked to go across ice, was constantly just rolling down the same side. Gets caught in a bad position, completely oblivious. When the puck goes right back across the ice, he turns his head and goes, "Oh, that was me." And probably not a worse feeling in the world right now as Cam York realizes what he did. And there you have 3-0 Wild midway through the third period at this point. And then of course the Flyers, though. The Flyers get back on the positive column as with the 14-18 mark. Travis Sanheim finally finds a way to get through Fleury to make it 4-1. Sanheim 6 from Paling is 8th, and Hathaway his 8th. I said the other night that Morgan Frost probably deserved an assist with one of his goals. I think Ryan Paling on this play right here deserved 2 assists. I'm not saying Hathaway don't deserve assists, but I think Paling deserved 2 assists on this play because this was an amazing effort by Ryan Paling to really kind of will the goal. I mean, he was just doing everything he possibly could to get the Flyers back in this thing offensively. Let's bring this thing up. As the Flyers were not dead, they're following their MO of sort of waking up offensively late in games, but you can't do that against the Minnesota Wild. I'm sorry. They're just too good of a team to be able to play like that. Let's bring this thing up and let it roll. So coming out of the zone, I want you to key in on Paling right here, number 25, as he's going to be right from the very beginning. He is going to create a turnover up here. Nice play. That's not a giveaway. That's a turnover. Then the play is going to go back to Drysdale. He's going to turn it right back around. Paling not missing a beat. He's going to pick up the he's going to follow Drysdale up the ice, staying with the puck. Again, this is an amazing play by Ryan. A great shift by Ryan Paling. He's Hathaway now with it on the sideboards as he's going to chip it into Paling. Paling now is going to bring it in. Paling over now, kind of bouncing around. Paling stays with the puck, kicking it around. A nice little kick there to keep the puck alive. He's going to then drop it back to Sanheim. No look pass. Sanheim with the kind of a one-timer. And goes through traffic and into the net for a goal. Flyers now down 3-1 as Ryan Paling, with, as I said, deserves about 2 assists on this play as he was all over that thing to try to keep it in the offensive zone for the Flyers to get a scoring opportunity. And Travis Sanheim delivers to make it 3-1 Wild. But then the Flyers decided to yank the goalie with about 4 minutes to go. A very aggressive move that I'm okay with. You're trying to generate some offense, and Kirill Kaprizov finds the empty net at 17:50, his 20th of the year. Foligno 7th, and Brodin his 7th assist. And that's all the scoring as the Flyers will fall today 4-1. For that third period, the Flyers were outshot the Wild 9-7. And on the game, Flyers were outshot 23-22. So there you have it, 4-1 Minnesota. In a game where you got to play better. You got to be better. You got to, when you're playing against a team like the Minnesota Wild, and I know a lot of the talk lately has been, oh, yippee, the Flyers. Look at the chippy Flyers. They're fighting their way in. They're hanging. They're doing what they got to do. They're the little engine that could. I don't want to be the little engine that could. I want to be a good hockey team. And I don't know how much more you need to see, folks, before you come to the realization that, yes, there's a certain ethic about this team. There's a certain work ethic, a certain tenacity about the Flyers, but there's also a certain talent gap, and there's also a certain talent dispersion. So I don't think that's getting breached by the players that are currently on this team. There's got to be some active movement here to get better, and I don't see it happening on the ice. I don't see Joel Farabee, though he's been playing better, morphing into a 25, 30 goal scorer on a season. I don't see Scott Lawton and be damned, his 4-goal game the other night. I don't see him morphing into a 25 goal scorer, right? I don't see Morgan Frost morphing into a 75 to 80 point guy. I just don't see that happening. There's just not enough talent there. And if you can get that work, keep that work ethic, keep that tenacity, but you got to add some skill here, because it's going to be games like this you're going to be up against every night against players, teams like the Minnesota Wild, teams like Colorado Avalanche, teams like the upper crust of the NHL. You don't have enough firepower to hang with them night after night. As good news story as the feisty Flyers are, they just don't have enough. And it's going to come to a point where something's got to give here, and we got to make some moves. And I'm not saying that the rebuild's bad. I love the rebuild. It's great. But at what point does Danny B and Keith Jones look at each other and say, we know what we got, and we don't got enough, and now we got to go get better? And how they go get better, that's a great story, and I'd love to know that answer too. But 4-1 with the Flyers with the loss today. Now on the season, 14-13-4 as they fell today, 32 points in 31 games. Steve checking in with this team is the definition of middle of the road. Not a fun place to be, but it is consistent and somewhat expected. Slow improvements aren't sexy, but it will happen. Steve, what do you mean? What do you mean? I just went on a 5-minute rant, Steve, about how I don't think it's going to happen, because there's a work ethic that's been established. There's a cultural change that has occurred. They are on the right direction. The road to retribution has been achieved. John Tortorella, mission complete. You've turned things around culturally. You've turned them around inside that locker room. You've created a hungry, feisty team, but you can't squeeze any more blood out of that stone. They just don't have it. And it's okay to admit that. Just like it's okay to admit that your quarterback is not elite. But the question now remains, how are you going to fix it? I'm not saying it's a mistake and it's wrong, blow up the whole thing. I'm not. I'm just saying we've gotten to a point. How much longer do we got to wait? Joel Farabee is not going any further, right? Scott Lawton, after 9 years, is not going to turn into Wayne Gretzky. So, yes, I agree with what Steve is saying. It is a fun place to be. Hockey is relevant in Philadelphia again. Yes, it is. I believe that last year. But now what? Now what, Steve? I don't know what the hockey is relevant Stanley Cup looks like. Is there a trophy for that? Last time I checked, there's one, and that's that big cup that after this summer, the Flyers will have no more representation on. Come on, Steve, give me a plan for the future. But your point is well taken, Steve. As the Flyers today, as I said, fall 4-1, and there were some positives for this game. There is some extreme positives, and I 100% agree with Steve as he is a big-time contributor. Mike Laro checking in, tough one today, Matty B. Absolutely, Mike. It was. Farabee got to go. I am on that same boat as you. Farabee definitely, trade him, man. Trade him, trade Lawton. You can make some moves here. Cut the cure. I don't know. But Mike Laro speaking. Mike, I hope you don't mind this. But we are proud to announce here on the It's a Wrap Sports that Mike Laro will be returning to us starting in February 2025. Mike will be joining the It's a Wrap Sports team, and we're looking forward to getting him back in the saddle. He will be a primary contributor here on Clear the Ice on the Fighting's Final, and then hopefully a little bit down the road, maybe his own show. So welcome back to the family, Mike. Welcome back to the team. We're glad to have you back. Let's get this thing going. Let's get to February, get you back in there, and we'll have some fun. So welcome back, Mike. It's great to have you back. 4-1 Flyers today with the loss. Now on the tilt for the Flyers, they will be off till Wednesday until they face the Detroit Red Wings, and then back-to-backs with Detroit and LA on Wednesday and Thursday. And with that schedule, let's look at that. Here's your Clear the Ice schedule for next week. Sal will be back at you on Wednesday and Thursday. Sal's going back-to-back. That's right. He's going to go back-to-back Wednesday and Thursday. I got you on Saturday, and then pretty much I got you, I think, for the rest of the year. I think I'm on the tilt for the rest of December. So Sal coming at you back-to-back next week, Wednesday and Thursday, and I have you on Saturday. And don't forget, tomorrow here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, the Birds Fly By, our post-game show, immediately following the Eagles-Steeler game. Sal will take you through that game or that show, hopefully to an Eagles victory, and everything else, of course, we got going on here on the network. So make sure you're staying with us, throughout the rest of your weekend. Mike says, yes, sir. Can't wait. Can't wait to have you back, Mike. It's been a while. You need to get back into this. So Mike Laro returning in February of 2025 to the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Well, he's not returning to the network. I mean, he was never here to begin with. He's joining the network. There you go. Joining the network in February of 2025 to be part of what we are building here for the future. So make sure you guys are checking back periodically to see your boy Mike Laro back in the saddle. Let's go to the Clear the Ice stat pack so far for the 24-25 season. As I mentioned earlier, the Flyers now 14-13-4 for 32 points in 31 games. With their 0-for-3 on the power play today, the Flyers are now gone 15-for-90 on the power play this season for 16.6%. They had that one shorthanded opportunity, which the Flyers killed. Now the Flyers have been shorthanded 91 times this year, and they've killed 76 of those for 83.5%. That's not good enough. The Flyers over the last couple seasons have been upward in that upper 80, lower 90 percentile with the shorthanded penalty kill. Now it's not as good this year as it's been in the past, but maybe we can work on that. Flyers with their one goal today have now gone to 89 goals on the season, still less than 3 a game. With the 4 goals the Flyers have given up, they've now surrendered over 100 goals this year. 102 now opposition has scored against the Flyers for over 3 a game. The Flyers have now registered 856 shots for 27.6 a game, have given up 876 shots for 28.2. Overtime record remains 4-2. The shootout record remains 3-2. 6 shootout goals, only 2 shorthanded goals so far this season. That's definitely not where it was last year. Flyers have taken the puck away 187 times for 6 a game. They've given it up 469 times for 15.1%. That number has been out of control since the beginning of the season. They've blocked 585 shots now for 18.8 a game. Mitchkov with 11 goals, and only 4 of them have been scored 5-on-5. Take that for what you want, folks. As I said, I hope he grows up to be Kirill Kaprizov, Kirill the Thrill, because that would be great. Flyers since the 21-22 season have gone 109 and 794 on the power play for 13.7% effective. And I am now 773 while host of the Clear the Ice program here on It's a Wrap Sports. And that's going to take me to the end of my rant, end of my show. Flyers 4-1 losers today to the hands of the Minnesota Wild. Up next for the Flyers will be Wednesday against the Red Wings from Detroit. So bring your octopus or octopi, and let's have a good old time as we get closer to the Christmas break, as the Flyers are skating towards that. 4 days off now for the Flyers as they will, kind of, I guess, I don't know, limp. I mean, it is what it is with this team, right? I'm tired of the good news story. I'm tired of the Flyers being looked upon as some sort of, I don't know. I'm really like, oh, okay. Oh, they're here. The good Flyers. Oh, that's a Flyers stand over here. Hey, attaboy, Flyers. You showed up. I'm tired of being treated. That's what we're being treated like in Philadelphia. We're no longer, the loser Flyers. Now we're like, oh, look at the Flyers. Aren't they cute? They're trying so hard. I don't want to be looked at like that either. I'd rather be looked at as the crappy Flyers, right? It's time. We've seen enough. And I've been saying this all season long. I'm not against the rebuild. I'm a pro-rebuild kind of guy. But I'm also pro-winning. And now it's time. It's time to start making some moves. It's time to start moving some people along who are not working out, who have worked out as much as they're going to work out for this team. This team is chock full with role players. There's teams out there that could use some of the Flyers players, especially as we move deeper into the season, especially as we get to that Stanley Cup playoff chase later on here in a couple of months. Danny B, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's try to continue to make this team better. But that's going to wrap me up tonight, Flyer folks. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your attention. Flyers 4-1 losers to the hands of the Minnesota Wild. We'll talk again on Wednesday on Clear the Ice. Don't forget tomorrow, the Birds fly by, and then my show returns tomorrow night, the final word with Matty B. Until we talk again, in the immortal words of the late, great Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I'm so. Everybody know I'm hot. You know when the click through. Try to send this box to be a so big fun.